Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be when others make excuses for the narcissist. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So excuses, you've heard them all by now. Why the narcissist isn't that bad, why their behavior should be tolerated, why you're not over them, what's the big deal, just move on, get back out there, start dating, it wasn't that bad. If I were in the relationship, I would have done A, B, and C. You've heard so many excuses from so many people, but when you were in that relationship, nobody knew what you were going through. And post-relationship, if somebody hasn't experienced what you went through, they can't put themselves in your shoes for one moment, because it's very easy to armchair quarterback when you're in the relationship by another individual or post-relationship to have somebody tell you or give you their peace of mind. Example, post-relationship, maybe someone would say, listen, it's been a year, what's the big deal? Just get out there, I'm getting tired, I'm getting so jaded of listening to you. Well, they don't know what it's like, and my hope is they never figure out or know what it's like to be in the narcissistic abusive cycle. But having said that, so many people will be making excuses for the narcissist, not only when you were in it, but before you met them, and certainly post-relationship. There are so many different nuances and layers of this onion to be peeled back. I'll jump in right now. Before you met the narcissist, or when you met them, maybe you met the narcissist through a mutual friend, and maybe the mutual friend said something like this: oh yeah, their spouse isn't with us any longer, they're passed, and they're having such a difficult time raising the kids, and they can't keep a job down, or they're new to the country, or they're new to the area, etc. But you know, they're really good people. Well, see, right there, they're making excuses for somebody who turned out to be a narcissist. And when a mutual friend introduces you to somebody who turns out to be toxic, A, that person, they may have known who the narcissist was. B, maybe they didn't know. But C, no matter how you cut it, they're making an excuse for the narcissist, or they're believing in the mask. So that person, whether they did it deliberately or not, or intentionally or not, that perhaps introduced you to the narcissist, that person did not do you any favors. Really understand what I'm sharing with you. So that's one example of so many thousands of examples when people make excuses for the narcissist. Let's stay back in time when you first met the narcissist. Maybe they sold you a song and dance or a bill of goods and claimed that they were the victim, or they couldn't catch a break, etc. Well, then what they would do is they would have people reinforcing that notion. Maybe it was their immediate family members, or maybe it was short-term friends, or maybe it was people they worked with, or their neighbors, etc., that lined up with what the narcissist was telling you, because those people also were believing the bill of goods that the narcissist was selling. You see, the narcissist was looking for a host because they are a parasite, and they will use anybody they possibly can to make excuses for them, while they are stringing those people along for the ride and trying to get into a relationship with you. So those are some examples of before you met the narcissist, or about the time you met the narcissist. Now, when you were in the relationship, other people were making excuses for the narcissist. They were saying things such as, yeah, well, they think that you're such a good person, but they only say things about you that aren't good. Meaning, why would somebody say that? Meaning the narcissist is never going to tell you certain things to your face, like you're a beautiful person, you're considerate, you're compassionate, you're giving to a fault, etc. They're going to tell other people that, and they're going to try and string other people along, so the other people will make excuses for the narcissist when the narcissist is talking to you. I hope that part made sense. You see, the narcissist is controlling multiple people at any one time. They're juggling multiple bowling pins in the circus of abuse at any one time. And what they want to do is enlist as many enablers, as many flying monkeys as they can, and as many people who will make excuses for them. Let's go to the immediate family of the narcissist. Does the immediate family of the narcissist know that they're the narcissist? Well, by now they probably do, but maybe they don't. But what they do know is that person is toxic, and they can't maintain a relationship, and they're always blowing up or destroying relationships, because the immediate family of the narcissist had relationships themselves that were blown up from that person. The narcissist will isolate and destroy and devour anybody they come across, and the immediate family members of the narcissist are no different. These people get jaded and burnt out, and many times in this day and age, they do know who the narcissist is, but they're not going to admit it. Which is why, think about the immediate family of the narcissist. These people make excuses for the narcissist. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And they will turn a blind eye. And they will say, well, I wonder how long this person, which turned out to be you, will stay in that relationship. As long as that person who turns out to be the narcissist is out of my life or my hair for a period of time, let's see how long the new supply can hang in there. The immediate family of the narcissist, their biological family or immediate family, they know who the narcissist is. And if you think for a minute they don't, you need to think again. Those people either brought up the narcissist or created them or were raised with them. And let's say that the narcissist has siblings, brothers or sisters. Well, the siblings of the narcissist were not treated like the narcissist. They were treated differently. Maybe they were the golden child or the scapegoat, or maybe they were the punching bag. Who knows what they were? Maybe they were the narcissist themselves. But those people were treated differently than the narcissist was, because this is how the cycle continues. It goes around and around in a loop. And the narcissist is playing on people's heartstrings. They're banking on people making excuses for them. They're banking on people putting up and tolerating their poor behavior. And when the narcissist has enlisted as much of the people they need to make their smear campaign or their false narrative become real, even though it's not real, this is a very debilitating and challenging place, because you, who were the new supply at one point, you didn't know that narcissism existed. You weren't taught this in school. So you were believing in somebody's words that their actions would match their words and that their stories from the past were legitimate or real. Many things you heard from the narcissist were not only not real, but they were trumped up or drummed up stories or partial truths from other people's lives that they put together because it sounded alluring or it sounded enticing to them. And they thought, wow, I couldn't come up with that myself, but what I can do is copy it, mimic it, imitate it, tell it to myself over and over again, make it real, and tell the flying monkeys and the enablers that that's part of my story. You see, this is what the narcissist does. This is what they've been doing. It's what they're doing right now. And when people make excuses for the narcissist, what it does is it empowers the narcissist and it isolates people, i.e. the targets of the narcissist. I was one of those people. I'm certain you were too. So think about the ending of the relationship. Let's say you were discarded, or if you ended it yourself. Either way, my heart goes out to you, because you were in the most life-threatening, challenging, debilitating relationship known to humankind. But were there people there for you, to listen to you, to listen to your story, to hear you? Probably not. There probably was nobody. If there were a few people, those people who were listening to or supporting you, they were the people who weren't drinking the Kool-Aid that the narcissist was pouring. They were the people who couldn't be bought. They were the people who saw behind the mask, although they may not have even known what narcissism was. They were the people who were skeptical about the relationship in the beginning. They were the people who were watching you from afar saying, wait, I really hope that person who turned out to be you is okay, because I think they're in over their head. I don't know what that person's doing to them, but I know that something's wrong and something's off. You must understand all of these things I'm sharing with you. All these things encompass that the narcissist has people making excuses for them. Sometimes the narcissist asks people to cooperate with the smear campaign or do some favors for them or spy on people, etc. Other times these people do it because they're toxic themselves, and other times they do it because they're innocent. They're pawns of the narcissist and they don't know any better, so they're believing in the mask. But the more people the narcissist can enroll or enlist or get on the payroll, believing and supporting their false narrative of the mask and making excuses for them, the more they believe that these stories or these examples are true and become real. The narcissist doesn't live in reality. They live in their version of reality, which is a constant, non-stop loop of manipulation. It's one big Hollywood performance, and they're performing for an audience of sometimes one, sometimes hundreds. But the narcissist audience, it dwindles, it shrivels up, it fades away over time, because as I've shared over the years, the narcissist gets older and their skill set becomes not as good, so they have to lean on different things, which means as the narcissist gets older, they don't have the same excuses they used to have. Now they're older, they become the aging narcissist, which is what? That's right, it's not a pretty sight to see. But on top of that, they need to continue to tell themselves that their version of the past is real, when in fact it's not. That's why you need to get away from these people as far and as fast as you possibly can once you wrap your head around that you perhaps were in or are in a narcissistic relationship. Because these relationships, they only get worse over time. They only deteriorate. They do not improve no matter what you think. Think about a Hoover. What is a Hoover? A Hoover is when the narcissist is testing the temperature of you. It doesn't mean they're trying to get back with you. It means they're seeing if you've healed. They're seeing if you've figured them out. They're seeing if you'll give them another chance or if you'll leave any avenues of communication open with them. That's why you need to become unhooverable. You need to stop listening to people who were making excuses for the narcissist. You need to stop giving them other opportunities or chances. You need to stop believing in the mask. You need to stop believing in them. These people will kick you when they're down. They will crumble you up like a sheet of paper, throw you away in the freeway and not think twice about it, because that's what they did before they met you with other people, including their own immediate family members. That's what they did with you, and that's what they're doing with other people right now. So when other people make excuses for the narcissist, they were making excuses before you even met the narcissist, because those people, again, they were toxic, or they were being manipulated or fooled, or they're believing in the false narrative of what the narcissist told them before they even met the narcissist, meaning they believe their song and dance and their story and their storyline from years ago. But nobody was with the narcissist when they were younger. Nobody knows what really happened. What you do know is whatever they tell you. Also, again, when people were making excuses for the narcissist when you were in the relationship, they would say things like, it can't be that bad. What's the big deal? Every time I see them, they're always smiling and laughing, and they seem so jovial and kind, and they're a good person. I don't see what you see. Well, that's because they weren't in the relationship. They don't know what it's like to be walking around on eggshells. They don't know what it's like to be living with Dr. Jekyll or Mr. or Mrs. Hyde. They don't know what it's like to be triangulated. They don't know what it's like to have your birthday or vacations or holidays be blown up left, right, and center. They don't know that that person is more than 2 people. They're more like 300 people. But what that person who says or is making excuses for the narcissist when you're in the relationship, saying it's not that bad, that's not the person I know. The person I know is an amazing person. You're lucky, you're fortunate to be with them. That person doesn't realize that narcissism exists and that they could be a target themselves. And again, post-relationship, people will make excuses for the narcissist. Their immediate families will make excuses for them, saying it's your fault, you should have known, or what's the big deal, or they're not the narcissist, what are you talking about? And their besties will say the same thing, and their children and their stepchildren, and everybody will say anything, because the narcissist needs people to believe in them. Remember, the narcissist surrounds themselves with enablers, with people in the trauma bond and the narcissistic fog, with people subservient to them, and to people who are believing that the narcissist is the best thing since sliced bread. When you cut it all down and you boil it all down to its core, the narcissist is not only a parasite, but they're a toxic person, and they manipulate so many people at one point, and they have so many people making excuses for them, tolerating their poor behavior over and over again. Think about this: when you were in the relationship, maybe the narcissist would tell jokes that were off color or that weren't funny. And then their friends or their immediate family members would laugh at these jokes, and you would be scratching your head saying, that's not funny. Why would you even laugh at that? Why do you think those people would laugh at those jokes? It tells you very clearly, either they're toxic themselves, and they probably are, or they're afraid of being bullied, so they would laugh at them. And then maybe under their breath, they would say, wow, I really wish I didn't laugh at that, but I did. But the point is, they're making excuses for the narcissist, and they're feeding the fragile ego of the narcissist, and that becomes real and real and real in the tiny little pea brain of the narcissist. This is why once somebody gets a whiff or gets a scent or catches on to who the narcissist is and what they're doing when they're in the relationship, that's when, once that happens, the discard's right around the corner, or the ending of that relationship, because the narcissist can't manipulate people or fool them the way they used to. That is why the narcissist has so many little groups of people, little bubbles of people, because at any one point in time, any one of those bubbles can blow up or implode, because somebody will wise up or wake up, and then they realize, wait, I want nothing to do with this person, because I figured out that they're the narcissist, or they're toxic, or they're talking bad about people when certain people aren't present. Think about what the narcissist does. They're nothing but a bully and a coward with the loudest voice many times, and what they do is they manipulate the system, they manipulate people, they manipulate relationships, they manipulate people's time, money, empathy, energy, they manipulate people's mindset, their focus, their hobbies, their health, their jobs. They do whatever they can do, and they have people make excuses for them. Think about so many different examples. What about HR? And if you work in HR, I get it, but these are just real life examples. The HR departments are essentially set up to protect the toxic people in the business. You may think otherwise, but when is the last time you went to HR and they actually stood up for you? They probably didn't. They probably heard your side of the story, went through the motions, stood up for your workplace bully / narcissistic boss, because that person had been in HR dozens of times before you were in there with them, and you'd never been in HR in your entire life. But this was the same old rodeo for the narcissist, and the company behind the scenes said, keep the workplace bully in place. They're doing a great job at earning the bottom line or making us the most money, and the employee who turned out to be you, and it certainly was me, is replaceable. Don't even worry about the employee. Just listen to them, go through the motions, put them on the PIP, which is Performance Enhancement Program or whatever it is, and then send them on their way after a month. Yeah, real life example. This is what happens because people are making excuses for the narcissist. It's not until the narcissist turns their grubby little attention to someone else who turns out to be someone who was an enabler, who was a flying monkey, who thought they were safe, that it's too late for those people. You see, it's always easy to second guess other people. It's always easy to say you should have done that, you would have done that, or I would have done that, or I can't believe you tolerated it, etc. But when the microscope is on you, and when the magnifying glass is on you, and when the narcissist has the radar set on you and blowing up and destroying your life, it's not that easy. It's actually quite challenging. It's life-threatening. It's debilitating. It's a place that's foreign to you. You don't know how you got there, but what you do know is now your life is topsy-turvy. It's been twisted upside down, in and out and all around. And when there are people making excuses for the narcissist and taking their sides, whether it's the legal system, the judicial system, their neighbors, their colleagues, their coworkers, maybe it's their immediate family members, and they're all against you, and it seems like the odds are stacked against you because they are, that's a very daunting, challenging place to be. That's when you're vulnerable. That's when many times you're at your lowest point in life. I can say it because I was there. That's essentially when it feels like it's you against the world. You know why? Because it is, but you will get out of it. Once you maintain your boundaries, you wrap your head around what narcissism is, you realize that the narcissist will continue to surround themselves with people who do what? That's right, who make excuses for them. You need to understand this. If the narcissist doesn't see utility or some opportunity in people, they're not going to keep them around. They flat out won't do it because the narcissist is lazy, they're a coward, they're a bully, and they need people doing things for them, which includes making excuses for them. Once people get the target set on them, and my hope is the target isn't set on anybody else ever again from the narcissist, but this is how it works, then that person is now in your shoes, and it's not so easy now, is it? No, it's not. This is when you can say to yourself, oh my gosh, I didn't think it was such a big deal. Well, guess what? It's a huge deal. It's a very big deal when you don't know what you're up against, but what you do know is your life is being decimated. All of your relationships are being crushed. Your hopes, dreams, aspirations, goals, your future is being devastated, and nobody, and I mean nobody's there to rescue you. No one's there to talk to you. No one's there to comfort you. No one's there to listen to you because everyone's making excuses for the narcissist because they're all drinking the Kool-Aid. They're all being enlisted by the narcissist. They're flying monkeys, enablers, they're people subservient, they're people that are narcissistic themselves, that are just grabbing their popcorn and watching everything unfold. This is the path. The path is to get out of the narcissistic relationship. It's not to stay in it. It's not to continue to believe that other people are going to change. People reveal themselves in time, every single one of us. The narcissist has, I have, you have, or you're about to. And once you realize and wrap your head around that not everyone thinks the way you think, not everyone has your best interest at heart, and not everyone has your best intentions in mind, once you wrap your head around those things, and at the top of that list is the narcissist, then you realize it wasn't just you and the narcissist in the relationship. It was you, their whole immediate family. It was you, all of the enablers, all the alleged flying monkeys, all the friends, the people who disappeared. It was a whole army of people against you. And again, I'm not trying to trigger you or upset you, but when the dust settles and you really wrap your head around what had happened to you in that relationship, you were in that thing all by yourself. You were in an ocean of abuse, in a cesspool of manipulation, floating around aimlessly, trying to patch up the holes in the boat that the narcissist was puncturing on purpose because they wanted to capsize your boat. But you didn't know what you knew back then. And that's why now when you know what you do know, you need to have your boundaries in place. You need to maintain them. You need to go no contact, block these people, delete them, remove all toxic people and people associated with them, and understand that the healing path is in front of you. You will have to understand and practice radical acceptance and realize that yes, there were so many people that made excuses for the narcissist, people that didn't know who the narcissist was, people who did, people who acted like they didn't but they did, people who were just pawns and puppets. But this is what the narcissist keeps around them. They keep around them people that will do the bidding and the work and talk for them. That's why post-relationship, when you have a small footprint and you heal properly, you realize that your circle of protection, your circle of support it's microscopic. It's really small because everyone else has weeded themselves out, or you vetted and weeded other people out. Understand what I'm sharing with you. So unfortunately, the narcissist will always keep people around who will make excuses for them, because the narcissist loves misery and misery loves company. And if anyone is supporting the narcissist, and whether they know it or don't, they're drinking the Kool-Aid or they're toxic themselves any way you cut it. So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning, no matter where you are on the planet. You are not alone. Remember that. I love you all. God bless you. You are not alone. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. And realize a few things, that people will always be making excuses for the narcissist. You'll find it in the legal system. You'll find it with their immediate family members. You will find it with people that are working with them, neighbors, colleagues, coworkers. There are very few people that will actually have the courage and the gumption and the notion and the drive and the wisdom and the fortitude to stand up to the narcissist. That's what you're understanding now, that very few people do the right thing. Very few people trust their instincts and their intuition, because many people are drinking the Kool-Aid that the narcissist is pouring. So realize that. That's why you're a different person. That's why you are a rare, empathetic, kind, loving, stable, healthy person, filled with direction, purpose, commitment, resilience, fortitude. And you are now understanding that you've been through the cycle. You're out, you're healing, or you've healed, and you want nothing to do with toxicity, not today, tomorrow, or for the rest of your life, because you now have the newfound superpower, which is the wisdom on the narcissistic abusive cycle. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.